Today, we're talking about a love language that isn't about what you say, but what you do. It's about how something as simple as taking out the trash can sometimes shout, "I love you," way louder than a dozen roses ever could. Yep, we are diving deep into acts of service.
You know, this quote right here from Gary Chapman's book, it really gets to the heart of it. How can cooking and cleaning, things we usually just think of as chores, feel like the most incredible declaration of love? How can an everyday task say "I love you" more clearly than a poem? Well, let's get into it.
And that right there, that's the whole idea behind the fourth love language, acts of service. It's this simple but honestly powerful concept that for some of us, what you do will always mean more than what you say.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it's all about expressing love by doing. It's serving your partner in ways that show you care, that you value them, and that, yeah, they're a priority. It's love that's demonstrated, not just declared.
And just look at how simple these things are. We're not talking about these huge, grand, romantic gestures, right? It's cooking a meal, taking out the garbage, changing a diaper. These are the small, everyday things that, when they're done with a spirit of love, become the most meaningful expressions of care you can imagine.
To really see how this plays out, the book tells this incredibly powerful story. I mean, it perfectly shows how misunderstanding this one love language can create so much conflict, and how finally getting it right can literally save a marriage.
Okay, so meet Mark and Mary. They'd gotten to this point where it felt like they disagreed on absolutely everything. Their marriage was just collapsing under all these arguments about chores, hobbies, you name it. And the one thing they actually had in common? They both felt deeply and completely unloved.
So, if you looked at it from Mary's side, she felt totally abandoned and just overwhelmed. For her, Mark's focus on work and his hobbies wasn't just him not helping out. No, it felt like a total rejection of her and the life they were supposed to be building together. She felt more like a servant than a partner.
But then you look at Mark's side, and it's a completely different story. He felt disrespected, unloved, because the picture of a loving home he grew up with, the one he learned from his parents, was a clean and orderly one. So when he came home to chaos, he wasn't just seeing a messy house, he was feeling a total lack of love from Mary.
And here it is. This is the real kicker. Their whole conflict came from this huge shift in his behavior. See, while they were dating, Mark was constantly doing things for Mary, helping with school projects, chores, you name it. That's what made her fall in love with him. But after the wedding, he switched back to the model he grew up with, and poof, the very actions that screamed love to Mary just vanished.
And this is just fascinating. When they finally sat down and actually listed out the specific things that would make them feel loved, they had this huge realization. They were speaking two different dialects of the exact same language. They both needed acts of service, but they needed completely different things. For him, it was making the beds. For her, it was washing the car.
So this whole story with Mark and Mary, it really shines a light on a huge rule when it comes to this love language. It's not just about what you do, but how you ask for it. This is the critical make or break difference between making a request and making a demand.
Chapman just puts it so perfectly here. Love has to be a choice. It's got to be given freely. You can guide your partner by asking, give them a roadmap, but you can't demand an act of service and expect it to feel like love. Demands just kill the whole loving intention behind the action.
Think about it like this. When you make a request, you're giving your partner directions on how to love you well. You're saying, hey, this would mean the world to me. But when you demand something, you completely strip away their choice. You suffocate any chance of it being a real expression of love. You stop being a partner and you become a boss.
So, does this mean you have to become a doormat to speak this love language? Just serve your partner's every single whim and never think about yourself?
No, absolutely not. And this is a really important distinction to make. See, love is a choice. It's made by a thinking, feeling person. A doormat is just an object that gets used and manipulated by guilt or fear. Letting yourself be mistreated is not an act of love for your partner, and it is definitely not an act of love for yourself.
To really speak this language well, a lot of us have to push past our own ideas about who's supposed to do what in a relationship. Just like Mark had to realize that his parents' way wasn't Mary's way. Loving your partner effectively sometimes means doing things that totally challenge your own stereotypes.
At the end of the day, love isn't just a feeling that happens to you. It's a choice you make every single day through simple, powerful actions. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one small thing you could do today that would speak volumes to the person you love?